Hello and welcome to Popcorn and Plot Hole.
And that's it, boys. We're
This
done.
week, we're doing micro episodes. We watched Captain America: The First Avenger. It was good. Other reviews?
Twas good.
Luciano?
I concur.
Great. We'll see you next week, everybody.
It's also our new theme song.
I love every minute of that. We did watch Captain America: The First Avenger. It is continuing our ever-lasting 1 month 4-show stream of World War II movies.
I think 1 month is contradictory to everlasting.
Yes, it's having a time set is literally the opposite of being everlasting.
Okay, well, Captain America is everlasting. He fucking lived for 7 years in ice, technically.
Checkmate.
So,
He
gotcha.
also died at the end of Endgame. So.
Wow.
Did
We're
he?
not talking about that. We're only talking about the first Avenger.
He didn't die. He just got old.
And what happens after you get old, Spencer?
If you're Captain America, you live another infinite,
90
everlasting
years?
amount of
Oh,
years.
Can you imagine? It's just
We don't know how the
just
serum
a
works.
skeleton, just a skeleton and like skin.
He walks up. He's like,
My day.
I can do this all day. Okay, Gramps, let's get you back inside.
Fucking dies on his way back into his home planet. But yeah, we watched Captain America: The First Avenger to continue our month of episodes on World War II. We've all seen it, I think, before, but we thought it was a good chance to review it. You've heard Luciano, you've heard Spencer.
What's up?
Chris is still watching The First Avenger, I fear.
We berated him so much for watching things in like 1.5 speed. He's watching like 0.2 speed.
He's being a critical eye.
Yeah.
Some say it'll never stop.
Some
Some say his viewing experience is everlasting. Yeah.
There you have it, folks. We landed that plane like professionals we are. Let's talk about this movie. We always start with something positive, something good. So let's start with the good thing about this movie.
I have something.
Go for it.
You know, obviously it's easy to pick a scene that you like, but I'm going a little different here. It was fun watching this movie, going back to this movie with like the state of Marvel, because this was such a early step in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's what, the third movie?
I think it was the third movie, and you can really see the sort of the breadcrumbs being planted that now we know where they went. And it's such a big difference from the new movies, which it's like, here's a new character, and it's like they just do it so lazily now. It's like, oh, and that next movie they're gonna have this guy, whereas this movie was like an example was like Armand Zola was like a character in this movie, but like it didn't need he wasn't just there because he's going to be in another movie, you know. He had a purpose, but then he did end up doing something in like Winter Soldier. And there's a lot of little things like that like later had payoff. So I just really liked the less overt world building this movie had. You know, it wasn't so like in your face, being like, "Look, guys,
Yeah,
this is a reference. This is from this is something important." It was just kind of like in the background.
It wasn't so formulaic either, right?
No. I mean, obviously there's like the Marvel formula,
but it wasn't really a formula yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like when they started the MCU, it was like each movie was like almost like a different genre to a small degree.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just like Marvel movie.
Yeah.
This was like a history, like a war movie, you know, with superheroes, kind of.
Well, even if you consider that maybe not everything they did in these movies was intended to be used, but was used, it's built in a way that's intentional to the story they're telling.
Yeah.
And so it Zola makes sense in this movie, and I think they planned on using him. But even if they didn't, because they just made him a character in this movie that had an arc that made sense for the movie, coming back and referencing him later made sense because they worked within that context, not not like you
It's
said.
not shoehorned back in somehow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Not
it
like
seems
asking why is he here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how,
Like what-
like a Palpatine kind of deal where it's like, how is he fucking alive? No, this makes sense.
and that's what you. That's the feeling you get when you watch like the last fucking Wasp and Ant-Man movie, where it's just like, what is all this stuff? Like, what
Yeah.
does this mean? Why do I care? You know, like you're not. They didn't build any stakes. They just had this movie where things happen in the quantum realm, so they could set up Kang, or sorry, he who shall not be named because of lawsuits.
Yeah, like
Kang was canceled.
the
Yeah.
first batch of movies that culminated in Endgame, they all felt built like they had a purpose, whatever it was. Nowadays, it's just like no Marvel movie. The purpose
Yeah.
is just to make money.
The purpose, and not just to make money. The purpose is to like expand the brand, like further the
Yeah.
the
But the story
Marvel
doesn't have
machine.
like an arc, right?
yeah. It
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's like it's. If it doesn't feel like they're trying, like this movie felt like they were trying to make a good movie that you could
Yeah.
be standalone on its own, right? And they
Yeah.
had like a vision from start to end. Whereas the other ones were like, we got to get this in here. You know, viewers are going to want this. You know, it's like all market tested to have all these references and
It's
set up
like
hype.
set to the formula, right? It's like it has to check a bunch of check boxes and does it have this? Does it have a reference? Does it, like have this thing that everybody wants to see and this little fan service from the comic and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that before.
Yeah, felt like they would like give the directors the movie to make their movie. You
Mm.
know, they weren't as like obviously they're like, you got to make sure, you know, Captain America follows certain things that aren't like outside of his character, but it's like it feels like they're like, this is your movie to make, but you know, whereas now it's like I don't even think it matters who directs the new Marvel movies. It's like it's almost like directed by like a group,
A committee,
like,
Chat
like
yeah.
a think
GPT.
like a think tank, yeah, or an AI machine, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that about it.
Yeah, I think we can. The referendum on Marvel movies can be conducted in a future Marvel movie if we watch one. But I agree with you that it was nice to see a movie that was self-contained, well thought out, and used the
And-
characters well.
And all of those things, and that you could clearly see, wasn't intended to just be the one thing and like throw in a bunch of loose ends and leave them. Like you can
Mhm.
tell that they was building stuff, right?
Except for the main villain disappearing into nothing.
Being blasted
no
into space by the
with no
Tesseract.
explanation.
Well-
Well, like, we'll settle that later. Somebody else can deal
The
with that.
explanation for it not coming back is Hugo Weaving was like, nope, don't want to do that anymore. So they didn't.
They literally pulled a Red Skull, went back to his home planet.
Yeah, and never
In
was
real
never
time.
seen off again, heard from again. Yeah. So since Spencer stole my
Oh wow,
the thing I was gonna say, we're very similar.
teefed.
I have to pick my second favorite thing was just Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. Every line out of his mouth is iconic. Just the way he played the character, the way he like chose to give him like a southern fall accent, and just the way he refers to things. I really enjoyed seeing him. I don't remember enjoying his character as much the first time around when I watched it as I did this time. As he goes like, when you brought a 90-pound asthmatic to my army base, I was like, okay, let's see, maybe it will be useful to you, like a gerbil. Like that was just hilarious.
Like a
So-
gerbil.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that a lot.
This movie contains probably my favorite line out of all the Marvel movies, and it's such a throwaway
Wow.
line. But it's like it resonates me. And I think I reference it every time Trump was the fucking president of the United States. And it's like it's Armin Zola's line when he's talking to Tommy Lee Jones after they capture him, and he's like, Tommy Lee Jones is basically like, well, Red Skull's he's crazy, and he's like, the sanity of the man has nothing to do with his ability to
Yeah.
be successful. I think it's like why not? It's like because he can do it.
Yeah,
And like it's
it's a good line. It's a
and
good
it's
line.
like yeah, like what like it's there's so many people that are like, yeah, they're crazy, but they also have the power and the ability to do shit. So
Like us in this podcast.
exactly, just like us. But it's always just been like such an underrated line because it's like it's actually so true. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, COVID, same thing.
The way he says it is so
It's
like,
better than the way I butchered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to find it, but
actor's
I
great.
can't find it quickly. But yeah,
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones is good
Toby
and everything.
Jones.
Yeah.
I want to throw an honorable mention to the heart of Captain America. Like, I don't think it was before this movie. Like, I think it was, if you said to make a Captain America movie, like, people don't remember. People were like, Captain America was like kind of like not a joke, but it was just like, it's so like American patriotism is like kind of ridiculous in our modern day world. It's like, it kind of like people who are patriotic to America now are like kind of like think of them as kind of kooky, and they like took a pretty difficult thing and they made him like pitch perfect in terms of what he represents and like the heart that he has and like what he stands for. And it was like, in my opinion, if they didn't nail that in this movie, MCU wouldn't work, because he is kind of like, obviously Iron Man is like the protagonist, but he's kind of like the soul of the MCU.
Well, with all of them, well, maybe not with Iron Man, they didn't need to do it, but well, with the others, they did like refine. They didn't need to do much with Cap, but like they did refine when the other movies came. They refined their personalities and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think they did a good job the first time around with this one as well.
Yeah, like this Iron Man and this movie are like what set the
tone,
bar, not the like the tone, but also like the characters. Like they were like the most important two characters for the Avengers movies to succeed, in my opinion. And if this didn't work, like if he came off as like cheesy or like not like someone like that,
like
I can do this all.
Yeah,
like if he came off like that and like tone deaf, it would have been like really tough to make a team movie where like it works. But he's like, the classic, like I can do this all day. It's like just like so good. And it's just
I didn't remember. There was a lot of, I didn't remember this happened in this movie when I was watching it again.
Yeah,
I didn't remember
ditto.
that's the first time he said it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Spencer, don't worry. All the people who used to look at Captain America as the heart and soul of America have switched over to, burning candles and branding swastika, Nazi paraphernalia.
What's wrong with burning candles?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's fine. It's when you march around with a bunch of white people.
And tiki torches?
Tiki torches. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Isn't it weird that like Captain America is supposed to represent the ultra patriotic people, and now the people that are like that are like, well, maybe he was fighting against the wrong people.
Maybe he was woke.
Maybe he's too woke.
Yeah, Captain America is oh my god,
he's too woke.
Yeah.
Well, if this movie came out now, that probably would be the title, more like Captain Woke Erica.
Yeah, or Captain Cook.
Captain Cook. Yeah. There it is.
Welcome to Popcorn and Plot Holes. We're discussing Captain America. Is he too woke?
Yeah.
Is this the end of Captain America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to an American man?
Yeah. We'll have questions about that later, I'm sure. Let's continue discussing the movie, whether it's good or bad at this point. I think the movie does a great job of telling a World War II movie inside a superhero movie. Spencer mentioned it. I think that's one of the brilliant parts of this movie. So the superhero movie didn't feel stale, but it also, I think, helped bring in people who are like didn't understand superheroes. We present them with such an easy package to consume.
I don't know why they didn't lean into that more. It's like, why didn't they, like, again, that worked well with Winter Soldier, because that was like a political thriller. It was totally done like a political, like espionage movie with a superhero as the main character. And that seems to work so well to breaking out of the staleness of the superhero fatigue. Because it's like, and I remember when they were making that X-Men movie, New Mutants, and they're like, it's going to be a horror movie with superheroes, but then they botched it. But I was like,
as they usually do.
I'm like, but that concept of like leaning into like a genre to make it different is so smart.
Instead of like, the genre of this movie is superhero movie or comic movie. No. This is a like horror movie with comic characters and superheroes and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly.
But like the thing is, which is weird, we didn't have superhero movie fatigue in 2011, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that they actually chose to do it this way, I agree with Matt. Like this is probably was probably one of the best ways of introducing people that wouldn't be too interested in like superhero movies just for the sake of it. Which is they needed to do that back then. If this really was the third movie, they needed to bring in people, right?
Definitely some boomers saw this thinking it was like, I want to see that Captain America war movie. It's like Bridge on the River Kwai. And they're watching it. Wait a minute, it didn't happen. I don't remember Captain America fighting a man with a red skull.
I don't remember laser guns.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. Maybe I do.
Maybe I am.
That's the danger. Like, yes, we did shoot lasers. Yeah,
Just leaving with their grandkids. That's right, kids. I punched Red Skull right in his Nazi face.
Right in the kisser.
right in the
also, kisser. I know that the meme sort of comes after, but I was really hoping that there was a scene where we could have a meme of Captain America punching Red Skull and him saying so much for the tolerant left, but we didn't have one, unfortunately.
You can't get everything you want, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to give you a tolerant left and a tolerant right. Bam, bam.
No, the movie, like this is the thing. The movie is a fun movie because it's well done. It paces well. It tells the story it needs to tell.
That's the thing. I remember not liking it too much the first time I
me too.
I liked it much more this time.
Yeah, me too. It's aged well.
You guys are monsters. I liked it from the beginning.
No, I liked it from the beginning, but I remember being like, it's no Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly.
Iron Man was so like hyped.
Because I think this is a little bit slower, and it like the actual action takes a while to kick in.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
that's
the only
why.
thing. I mean, we'll talk about it. I think that's one of our plot holes, but the idea of playing Captain America as a chorus boy.
Yeah,
like
bold choice.
It's a bold choice, but it also goes on a little long.
Yes, it does.
But didn't you find that this movie was like refreshingly slow compared to again, I don't want to compare it to newer Marvel movies, but like this movie had so much character development that I don't think they make time for. Well, I think it was refreshingly paced for me.
I think it's meaningful character growth too, right? It's like they're not trying to like escalate the character growth. Like, you show Chris Evans going through the motions of going and getting tested and failing all the tests and getting beat up in the alleyway, and it's like that's slow pacing, but it's just like all of it is meaningful character growth to understand why he's picked as Captain America.
Exactly, yeah. Why he's like such a good person. Yeah,
that whole part of the movie, I think that's the best part of the movie, like story-wise, is showing him being that way, and then Erskine going, I'm picking you because of who you are, not because of like what you can do or how strong you are, and all of that. Even the dialogue is really good there. Like it's
you could tell they put the work in.
Yeah, they put some thought into it. Yeah,
yeah. Like it wasn't like, oh, it's gonna make $1 billion. It's a Marvel product. It was like they're like, hopefully this works, but like we're gonna work hard at making this as good as we can make it in terms of like dialogue and story and everything, and like really make sure everything is tight.
Yeah. Again, we're not talking about other movies, but like nowadays it feels like it's just from like the dialogue and the script is going from one quip to the other.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Trying to connect the quips, and it's like, it's not that they do it badly, but it's like, okay.
Oh no, they do it badly.
It depends on the movie.
Depends on the movie. Yeah.
Well, Luciano, I know you said we're not trying to talk about other movies, but we've barely talked about this movie in the last 20 minutes.
No, that's fair. Movie? That's fair. What did we watch? Inglourious Bastards?
Yeah. Who knows what happened to this movie?
I don't know about you guys, but I do want to mention I like this movie a lot, but that CGI Chris Evans' face.
Not just
on
his face.
Skinny Man's body.
All the CGI in this movie aged really badly.
Yeah, but particularly there are scenes where him on the skinny body where it looks okay.
When he talks is the problem.
But there are a lot of ones where it just looks like there are like apps now that can make this better.
Yes.
Like Snapchat filters that could look better than this.
It reminds me of like when DC spent all that money removing fucking Henry Cavill's mustache. And the guy did it for like in a half an hour, like another ad, and they're like, it's cost us millions of dollars. Yeah, it's it was far from good and good from far away.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't get too close, it's like that's believable. And then when he's close and talking, it's like
Like I remember at the time I was like, this is a bit distracting.
Yeah,
But now
even
it's
at
like,
the time, right? It was
even
like
at the
okay.
time, yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it's a little like, why not just? I mean,
and
does he
like
have to be that small? Can he just
Exactly.
be a regularly sized man who's like
couldn't
thickly?
it be like the same
weak?
height, only really skinny? That would have helped, right? But no, he had to be like what a head and a half shorter than he actually is. And like, there's a scene where he's especially when the scene is like during the day where it's well lit. There's a scene where he's talking, I think, to Peggy, and he's like center frame, and he's talking, and he looks back, like, and he looks back to the camera, and the face warped, and it's like, oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Well, the thing that I find so comical about it is his jaw is so big.
And it disappears at
it
times.
goes into that little neck, and
his whole
almost-
head doesn't make sense, right?
yeah.
it's almost like if they just shrunk his head by like 15%,
It would be better. Yeah.
it would fit better.
Yeah.
But it's like they they just kept like Chris Evans' natural head size.
Yeah, and
they're
they shrunk
like,
everything else.
And he's a tall dude, right? He's kind of a brawny dude, and it became even brawnier for the movie. But then they had to make him like tiny, and not even that. Like in some, it's not even like with itself throughout the part of the movie where he's small. Sometimes his head looks a lot bigger than in other times, like one right after the other. It's like, holy shit, what's happening?
well, I think there's shots where it's like the back of the head, and it's like whoever the actor is, his head, and then like he turns around, his head's like 20% larger.
Yeah,
Because for some reason they didn't try to make his head smaller.
but like, go ahead, man.
Well, it was a bold choice to do it and then spend so much time with tiny Chris Evans.
Yeah,
But I also think we can only see it now because we've seen better CGI work. You know, at the time, it probably looked like that's really fucking good. And
I remember.
No, it
being
didn't.
Like
it was weird. It was weird already.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
but, like,
thinking at the time it's
right, but you guys are assholes. I'm talking about the generic
That's
populace.
fair. No, fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Just like, oh, that looks pretty cool. Like it's close enough that it was like, if you didn't really pay attention too much, it was believable enough, right?
Yeah.
And this is the era. Like I think I don't know if it came out around or maybe it's before. They threw Grand Moff Tarkin into.
this is before that.
This is
Rogue
before,
One.
yeah.
A few years before.
Because that stuff, or like that stuff was fucking.
Or
off-putting as
Leia.
hell.
Yeah.
And there are scenes in this. Don't get me wrong. To all the Marvel animators listening to this,
All of them.
there
All
are
of them.
scenes in this where it's like, that looks really good. Particularly, I think it helps when he's wearing the helmet and
Yeah.
it has the chin strap that kind of blurs that line. Has like a clean line. Like maybe he should have just been wearing turtlenecks the whole time he was.
Or just the helmet the whole time.
He wore the helmet. He just really wanted to be a soldier.
Yeah.
Just give him a safety helmet at all times.
Yeah.
It's like you're too tiny,
It's
little boy.
It's too frail.
It's the thought that counts,
Yeah.
little Steve.
It's like a little football helmet, not even a military one.
Yeah. But like even other parts of the CG, like when they're landing on the train, or when there's a point where Cap, like right after he transforms, he's running after the guy that kills Erskine.
Yeah.
And like it's not only is it green screen, but it's like he's running at a different speed than this. Like the street is passing by in the background. It's really bad.
I'll forgive that stuff.
It's fine.
Well, I guess it's not that old of a movie. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't.
It's almost 15 years old.
It's
man.
old enough.
Yeah. I mean, did they CGI him into New York City at the end? Because it looked like a green screen then too.
Probably
He's in
to
Times Square.
some degree, but it's hard to know how much Marvel green screen then, because like I know in the later movies, I always reference this, but it would have been, God, I'm trying to connect my movies. It's the second Black Panther movie, where you have Julia Louis-Dreyfus
On the bridge?
on the bridge, and they fucking that's
Oh my
CGI.
God. That is the whole thing is CGI.
the whole
And it's
se-
just a city.
it's
It's just
just
a
like-
regular. Film it in an alley.
Yeah, no,
It's like-
she's standing on some stool, and everything else is
Yeah.
CGI in that scene. Yeah,
that's where I'm just like, what's
Why?
the fucking point? Like, is that cheaper? Is it better?
There's
Like,
no
think
way
it's-
that's cheaper.
I think it's like, oh, we have this vision of how we want that particular area
we can get it
to
look perfect,
like.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
put
think
that
that's
money
what it
into
is.
like an action sequence
That's
where
like,
that
that's the
CGI
thing, right? Like,
matters.
I was like, yes, I know going to on location can be a little expensive, but like,
But
Not
it's
cheaper than,
Marvel and Disney. Come on.
well, I honestly wonder if it's cheaper or not. Like, because if it's just a green screen and a picture in behind, if you already have the pictures, it's probably cheap. But like, it just throws off the feel of the movie for the
Yeah.
actors, and like, it's unnecessary to green screen everything all the time. When like letting people act in real spaces can help their ability to like, make it believable. Anyways,
Yeah.
It's
so
horrible.
the point of bringing that up is just like I don't know how much in Captain America is green screened or is not. Like, I hope they went out to the forests and all those explosions were real, but I bet you a lot of that was CGI'd, right? Like a lot of the
Well, if
combat
it's
stuff.
good, it doesn't really matter. The problem is when they try to, I don't know if it's cutting like budget or whatever, and it looks like crappy. That's when the problem happens, right?
Well, it's like I understand why you CGI the train thing because the train thing that's really almost impossible to pull off with fucking
For sure.
equipment.
Yeah.
So that's fine. If it looks a little janky, it's fine because that sounds fucking crazy. But if you're CGIing Captain America riding a bicycle
Yeah.
or riding his
Wa-
motorbike
or
through the
walking
forest,
through the forest. Yeah. Where would we find a forest? I don't know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like okay, so when he. What was it? It's early on when he's the chorus boy and he lifts the motorbike above his head with like the girls
The
on it.
three
Like,
girls. Yeah.
fine, yeah, you're gonna green screen that because like it's impossible to do that.
That
in
one
real
looks
life.
okay,
You
actually.
get a if you wanted to film that, that's not that hard.
Get like some steel cables and
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like, but like that. Now you have to worry about people being in danger and injured. Like it makes sense to
Fair.
CGI that shit, right? And I'm fine with CGI and that stuff. It's stuff where they don't need to CGI, or
Yeah.
you would benefit from practical effects.
Yeah.
That's where
It's the laziness
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
at the sacrifice of the movie
yeah.
that where it becomes annoying. It's like if it has to be CGI, then yeah. If a man has a mustache that he won't shave off for the movie, so you got to do what you got to do.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
In
yeah.
his defense, he was contracted for a different movie, and they wanted
Yeah.
to do reshoots. So that's on DC.
But that's on the West Side Boys more than anything else.
That was
Yeah.
West Side Boys. They
It's like, boys,
Yeah.
hey, fucking
if you even touch that fucking mustache, you're gonna be hearing from our lawyers.
It's the opposite.
CGI it.
It's the opposite. Take it off. Take that mustache off. We don't have Superman. Don't got no mustache.
They should have just let him.
No,
let him
WB
have
was
it.
the one who didn't let them have it.
No, yeah.
Or no, WB has
They
DC.
own both. Yeah.
Sorry, they own Mission
No,
Impossible?
Paramount owns Mission
Oh,
Impossible.
it was Paramount.
Yeah.
Paramount was like, nah.
No,
They're definitely like, fuck you.
Because he
You
was
can't
acting in
shave
their
it.
movie and he had a mustache, so he couldn't take it off. And the WB's
Yeah.
like, but he's got to take it off.
Superman.
Superman.
should've just-
Superman can have a mustache. Yeah. yeah.
They should have gone full all in on mustache
I
Superman.
agree.
Nobody would
agree.
have had a problem with it. Just have a scene in between like the scenes without his mustache where he's like, I'm getting sick
think
of
I'm
this
gonna grow
mustache.
one.
I think I think I'm gonna shave it. And then the next scene he has one. I think I'm gonna grow it back. I miss it. Just film those reshoots.
Yeah.
I think Superman should always have a mustache and he should have a deep V suit and just a really hairy chest.
with like a flashy like golden
Yeah.
chain. Yeah.
With the
yeah.
gold chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know he's Superman.
Yeah.
He got caught up with all these woke people.
He's not Captain Cuck.
He's not that cock, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie was good. I enjoyed it. Luciano mentioned Hugo Weaving, and I think really as we name all the people in this cast, like
I
at the
did.
time, I didn't really put together how good of a cast it was. But watching it now,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
they spent a lot of effort to get a ton of good actors in this movie, which
Yeah.
really helps sell
Yeah.
it. Like Hugo Weaving's just the fucking best. He's a goddamn legend in everything
Is
he
he the
does.
best villain actor?
He's close.
No,
I mean,
he's very good.
Willem
actor.
Dafoe is also amazing as fucking Green Goblin.
True. But
Yes.
he has an advantage, right?
He's crazy.
He looks
He looks
that,
crazy.
and
He looks like a goblin.
Exactly.
Out am I?
That's true.
Well, he was scarier without the goblin mask in them.
He really was. Like if he played the Red Skull, it'd be a much different.
Just paint his face.
Yeah.
Done.
He'd be like, Let me tell you about the Nazis, Steve.
And
The
and
Nazis
he would do that
are
smile.
fantastic.
Yeah, he would do that smile. Yeah.
Then he'd be like, "You're out of your mind." Out am I?
Yeah. So he would play Jochen Schmidt with like the most Midwestern accent in the history of space and time.
100%.
You're developing super weapons. I'm somewhat of a scientist myself.
Yeah.
Back to formula.
Obviously, Willem Dafoe is a good actor,
Yes.
and that helps. But like Hugo Weaving it's like he's like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, doesn't matter how ridiculous or how like weird, I'm gonna do this. So like he plays Elrond, like every time. So I was watching, as a side note, I was watching the Amazon Prime,
Lord of the Rings.
yeah, thing, and every
Oof.
time they talk, every time they said the name Isildur, in my head it was Isildur. It doesn't matter.
It's the
only way I can.
fire.
Yeah, yeah. It's the only way I can hear that, and like,
I was there, Gandalf.
but I think he hams it up a lot more when he gets to play like a wonky villain like this.
I really wish probably my biggest regret is that we didn't get more of him in the MCU.
Yeah,
Because he would have been a great.
He fucked off, right?
Yeah, I know
Sure.
for sure. He didn't want to do a bunch of these movies, but it didn't really like because a lot of the time at the beginning they didn't have like a main villain. Like Loki was the Avengers villain, and Red Skull coming back would have been really cool to
Yes.
face off against the Avengers as like a big villain,
And
or even
they
in like
they
a later
wanted him to
Captain
come
America.
back. I was reading yesterday. They wanted him to come back for Infinity War, and
But
he.
But was
like,
it for
he was
that
like-
same role that he had of just being like?
Yeah. It was
I mean,
Red Skull.
Yeah, I know. No, but I wasn't like the same in an end game. He was like, I just watched the Soul Stone, which was kind of like it was cool being like, oh, they're wrapping this up, but like it also makes like it's kind of a disservice to the character of Red Skull, who was like
right.
Well,
a main villain.
I assume that the end game was done the way it was because he wouldn't come back to the role.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So you don't-
he was done by an impersonator.
Yeah, so you just want some guy to go off in the corner and look like him from far away and roughly
With
pull
the lights
accent
off.
And, yeah, turn the lights off, close your eyes,
Turn off your nose.
turn everything off.
Yeah, I mean, I just would have liked to seen him at full power,
Yeah.
and like full like
In that ensemble cast, and
Yeah.
just trying to out ham like Josh Brolin and
Yeah. I mean, especially I think it would be cool to see him against the Avengers. But even like I said, in like a Captain America 3, like when he disappeared, I remember thinking like, oh, he's coming back. Like I can't wait to see where he went, what happened, and like him come back and be like even more powerful because he has like space powers now, or like technology or whatever. And it was like they just never did it, and I don't know. I guess they couldn't get him on, or they didn't have a script for it. But that is a regret. I would have liked to see more of him. But I also just love him because I'm a Matrix fanboy, and
Well,
he'll always be Mr. Smith to me.
he's just an excellent actor, right? Like
Still real to me, damn it.
Even in V for Vendetta, like seriously,
Oh, so good.
the movie, he's fucking awesome. Like,
What?
he's
Who's
just-
saying bad shit about V for Vendetta? Watch your mouth.
It's great. Everyone had a good time.
That
Moving
movie's
on.
fucking sick.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're gonna fight?
Sure.
No, we're not going to talk about it because we've already fucking.
know.
We barely talked about Captain America. We've done a low level grade on
Captain
the
Cuck?
MCU. Yeah, that's why we're not talking about him.
Yeah.
Let's plot holes this up. Let's talk about this fucking movie for once. Listen, there's not gaping plot holes. These aren't,
Vaginal
This is-
wormhole plot holes.
Yeah,
I was
this isn't
just
Gaping
Yes.
vaginal wormholes.
of fucking
This isn't-
Rebel Moon plot level.
This
plot
isn't
holes.
how do I shot Madam Web. This isn't any of that. Yeah.
it's fine. Like the movie is well told, but there's a couple things that kind of pop out to us, and one of the big things that popped out to us is early on, he's turned into Captain America. He looks like he went from fucking being a twig to like fucking redwood.
Beefcake. Yeah.
He's a beefcake. Like he's fucking.
Yeah.
Fucking a hunk of man.
He's
Yeah.
just a big old hunk of man.
That scene with Peggy when he comes out and she like goes to touch his chest and doesn't. It's
Apparently
so
that
good.
was improvised.
Well,
Great job.
Yeah.
Like it was a natural reaction that when she first saw him with his shirt off. I don't know if that's true. But I'd
I
probably do
hope
the
in my
same.
head it is now. In
My head
it
canon,
is.
it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want to believe it. So, but when that happens, and the Erskine's killed, and the German soldier gets away, but Captain America like fucking runs him down on foot. At the end, fucking Tommy Lee Jones Colonel is like, I wanted army of soldiers. Like all I got was one, and he like turfs them, and he sends them off to do nothing. And then the senator is like, oh, I got a job for you. But it's like, I don't understand why any colonel would just turf out a guy who went from being a stick to the fucking
in
manhunk
World War
he is.
II,
They're
when
conscripting guys every fucking day.
Yeah, like if you had a functioning lung, they would conscript you.
You're 15 years old with a bad fake ID. They're like, we'll take
Yeah.
you.
Sign up. You look tall enough, kid.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
it
I
doesn't
live
really
to serve.
yeah.
No, I mean, especially right after witnessing him, like, not
Run
only is he
down a
like
car.
a capable, able soldier, he's clearly superhuman.
Yeah.
What general or colonel can't make use of a super?
And the way he did it is also very weird because it's like, well, I wanted a whole army and they gave me one soldier. Fuck it then. I'm not even gonna take the one soldier. Go fuck off. Like, why?
But also, if this was just a test to see if the serum worked, who cares who they tested it on? Like, why do they need someone who was like of good moral standing and had like good character if they weren't even?
Well, because
they tested it already, and it melted the guy's fucking face and turned it red.
Yeah,
I mean, that's true.
They didn't want to say, okay, let's not take the first psychopath that comes along in case it actually works and now he's unstoppable. So,
Are you ready for the serum? What do we get the guns?
yeah.
I told you, you don't get a gun till you tell me your name.
Yeah, no, you go. Let's test the serum on you. Oh yes, let's test the serum on me. Wait, I thought you were
serum.
I thought you were from Montana. Yes, Montana.
Montana.
Yeah. No, they had to like Erskine knew
From mother Montana.
Yeah, Mother Montana. I'm big farm boy from Montana. Yeah, but like Erskine knew it worked.
Motherland.
Right? Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. He knew it worked. So it was just like, is it stable? Basically. So they had to pick someone.
Yeah.
Who was,
The test is like, if we pick the right person, will it
could work?
Make them be a good? Will it continue to be a good person since we pick a bad person and his face melted?
So was the plan to like just see if he's a good person but not use him in the field at all?
I mean, that's the question.
That's
here,
the plot hole. Yeah.
That's the plot hole. Like,
yeah.
Like you like obviously no one knows. No one except Erskine knows that the Red Skull took the serum, right?
Well, Cap does, right, or no?
Well, Cap finds out when he fucking pulls off his face, and he's like,
"You
and I are the same," right? So he finds out in the field.
Did he not say, "We're not so different, you and I"?
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah, he did.
He should have.
He did.
That's the way I remember it. That it
missed
happened.
opportunity. That's how I see it exactly.
Yeah. So no one knew. So obviously, you have to. If Erskine has this thing, you have to let him do it the way he wants to, right? Because he controls and he can make the serum. But so no one else knows it's worked before. But so you're kind of just beholden to the doctor being like, I won't do it unless I pick the right guy. And clearly Erskine is like, the last guy I gave it to may have been Super Hitler. So
yes,
not a fan.
Yeah.
The good news is, as long as you're not Super Hitler, it's a progress.
Yeah. And the bar is very low, is what I'm saying.
The bar is as low as it can be.
Yeah. But imagine if he hadn't been killed and he could have continued doing what Phillips wanted. What would they have done with Cap in that sense? Like, did you just leave him in the lab?
I assume it makes no sense. Take his blood and constantly. He'd be a lab rat.
He did. He gave a liter of blood. He says, holy shit, man, what the fuck?
But so this is the thing. If they had said that at all in the movie, hey, we don't want to risk you in the front lines. We want to blah 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 blah. That's fine.
And which is where he was going, right?
I want to serve, and he's like, you can serve in this way.
Yeah.
This is how
the
you
senators
serve.
Get those war bonds kicking. Suck
no,
it
well,
to
that's
old
what he
Adolf.
ended up doing.
Yeah.
But if they said, if you do this, you're not going to be able to fight. This is a test. And he was like, I just want to fight with my brothers on, the front lines. And they're like, if you don't you either serve us in the lab or no, you don't serve your country at all. So he's like,
right. But no one says that, right? So like that would be a solution for the movie, but no one says that. So like,
no one says
you can certainly send him out to do stuff, like continue to test them, right? Like he just ran down a fucking German soldier and ripped him out of a submarine, and like
he's useless.
That's the thing. Like it's discordant to the movie. It feels like they just really wanted to make him a chorus boy, and so they forced it.
Listen, pretty boy, you should be on the stage. Not in the army.
Well,
get out of here.
Phillips even says it, right, when he comes in and he wants to rescue Bucky.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, we don't need an entertainer or whatever."
Chorus
he says.
Boy.
Yeah, I don't know if he says chorus boy, but he should have.
But that whole thing's wild, right? Because they went through the effort to find the right person to put the serum in. They obviously Erskine had told them what the serum does. They even test to see what he could do.
What can he actually do exactly? Yeah,
and like at a minimum, you got to be like, take his blood and the liter of blood, and then put him through his paces. Like he fucking jumped car to car and ran faster than a moving car in the 1940s. And like I don't we kind of know what Captain America's powers are based on the comic books and everything else, but
they
where are his powers in this movie? Like what can he do?
They're like he's literally a human nuke, and no one knows. They're like, you're fine.
He jumped out of a fucking plane without a parachute, like. So
well, he had a parachute in this one.
Did he have a parachute in this one?
Yeah,
I didn't see it. Anyways,
I thought he was gonna do the no parachute like he did on the other one, where he jumps down with just the shield, but no.
Yeah,
he has a parachute.
Okay, so he had a parachute, but still, he jumps in I don't understand why they didn't test his abilities and see what he was capable of, and then what you see.
It's almost like they wanted to have that like him overcoming, like with the underestimating trope.
Yeah.
It's like where it's like you're not meant. When he says he's like you're a chorus boy, you're not meant for this, and it's like wait, that trope doesn't really work when you literally turned him into a super soldier.
Yeah.
It's like
I think.
What you think you super soldier boys could fight like a soldier? Yeah, right. Go back to Chorus Town.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's like doing like curls with like the colonel himself.
Yeah.
I think they did that just to have an excuse to put him in the uniform and justify the fact that he had like the goofy,
the Captain America uniform,
super colorful uniform and all that. I think that's why they did it the way they did. Obviously, that uniform an homage to the Golden Age Captain America uniform, including the non-round shield and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's why they did it. But there were other ways of doing this, I think.
It was sloppy, right? Like Spencer, I know you're gonna say it. Like, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say they could have, if they're like, they could have cleaned it up by being like, maybe he does something reckless to save someone, and then they're like, we can't have someone who doesn't follow orders.
Yeah.
You're off.
There you go.
You go to the chorus line.
Yeah.
We got to use you somehow. Like just something like that. Instead, they're like, you're right. They're like, they test him, they make a super soldier. Like it was a success.
Or even
okay, now get out of here. Get on now, go out of here. You get on, throwing rocks out. You get, don't turn back. Get on now.
Yeah,
go on, get.
They could have done also like actually shove him in the lab and say, no, this is how you're gonna serve your country, and then you use the tried and true trope of him. Okay, I'm gonna run away, but they can't know it's me, so I'm gonna put in a mask and a uniform, and they're not gonna know it's me. Fighting in the front lines without orders from a colonel or whatever, just going in there and helping, and that being his disguise, right?
Yeah.
His disguise is a blue fucking star-spangled...
Dude, we believe that Superman can hide himself with glasses. Why that wouldn't be the thing? So.
No, but they made him. They would know. There's a super strong man out on the front lines.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Did they know that? Because they wouldn't let him go be a soldier.
Yeah.
Literally, in one of the chorus scenes, you see him holding up a motorbike with 3 fucking chorus girls sitting on it, and no one's like, "Hey, that doesn't even look like he's having
trouble, right?"
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, special effect.
Like, oh, that's a weird special effect. I can't see any cables. It's a fucking 1940s.
Yeah.
Just fishing lines holding them up.
You think that's CGI? What's CGI? Concealed
gun. Concealed gun. Interim.
We could do better than that. Concealed girl interface. That sounds creepy. I apologize. I'll take that back.
Yeah.
Moving on. We're not going on this any longer. I've ruined
The
it.
I is incel.
That's why we moved on. So no, I think we've covered. There's so many ways just to clean it up. Just to like, he goes and does testing, and then for whatever reason in the testing, they're just like, oh, they don't trust him to go. Or there's so many ways to just tweak it. He can still be a chorus boy. You can still get him there, but it's just more of a justification than this test was completely successful. You're the super soldier we hoped for.
We don't want
Get on.
Yeah.
Get on out of here.
Yeah. It's
Don't
weird.
want you here no more. The doctor who made you is dead. It's like, yeah, but he still made me.
Yeah. It still worked. How do you know you're not a doctor? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. We won't know. Yeah, he's dead. We can't tell if it worked.
We have no idea.
He's put on 170 pounds of muscle. Now he looks the same to me. Get on now.
It's
Looks
just
like a
looks.
failure.
Go dance with some girls.
He just made him look hot. Those are
Yeah.
show muscles, not performance muscles.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. There's another plot hole we found. Again, it's similar to this. It's not a major plot hole, but like it's used to set up. It's sloppy, right? And the plot hole is to set up how Captain America gets to present day, so they can use him in all the Avenger movies.
Oh boy.
So he gets on the plane to. Is the plane going to America? I guess.
Oh, New
Yeah,
York.
it's locked in New York, and I guess it's
Sure,
gonna
but like it's weird because
explode?
inside the little weird hella planes are all labeled for different cities. So
yeah, so that whoever's driving them can re-verify where they're going.
Yeah.
Like, where am I going again? Oh, that's right.
That's right. I have to fly to Chicago. Great. But like so, Red Skull. He defeats the Red Skull. Actually, he doesn't defeat the Red Skull. The Tesseract defeats the Red Skull.
Tesseract defeats the Red Skull.
Tesseract's undefeated.
The Tesseract wins again. Ships his ass to space. No questions asked. Just gone.
Tesseract is the real hero.
Yeah. Good job,
movie.
Tesseract. But the Tesseract, once the Tesseract wins, then the Cap, I guess is it on autopilot?
So
Yeah.
he had turned on autopilot at some point, but given the fact that Cap drives it down.
What do you mean he turned autopilot on? The plane is flying on autopilot to begin with. Otherwise, there would be no concern.
They fought. They put it on autopilot, and it flew on autopilot while they fought, right?
Yeah.
And so the concern arises from that it's on autopilot. He can't turn it off, I think, and that's why he has to dust the plane into the ocean.
I
Or
mean,
it's automated. It's maybe not autopilot, but it's automated. So if it gets to North America, it's going to launch all the bombs and kill all the people, right? And that's why he has to put it in the drink.
They show a scene of him flipping the switch of the autopilot.
trying to turn it off.
Did he?
Not turn it on.
No. I mean,
Anyways,
Red
don't
Skull.
worry about this. The plot hole is that he has to put this plane into the drink himself, and it doesn't make sense. At least to our memory, it doesn't make sense. And maybe one of us should look up what actually happens in that scene because this might not be a plot
It's not
hole.
like
But
the three of us just watched it.
not like we just watched it.
I
We
watched
never
it a
watch
couple of
movies.
days ago. It's exactly that. Yeah.
So Captain America has to like send this plane to the ground. And what I don't understand is why he has to like manage it all the way into the ground.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
Right? Like he point it there, turn off the autopilot, whatever, smash some shit, like whatever it takes to do, just like aim it at the ground and jump out.
Or aim it up and jump out. Aim it to the sun and jump out.
Well, it's not going to get to the sun.
It doesn't have to. It just can't hit New York.
Hey man, we watched Iron Man. If you go too far up in the air, then everything freezes up. And
Yeah,
you plunge
that's
to Earth
true.
as a stone. So that would have solved the problems.
I'm just going to speak from like
The heart?
purely from logic.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like,
I don't care for your logic, sir.
First of all,
Just hear me out.
if you do this, then we have to let Luciano also speak from logic.
Oh God! All right, I retract my statement. No, as far it's just pure logic. I assume an autopilot is on in order for the plane to get to America. It's not going to fly there on its own without some sort of navigation system. So I assume he couldn't turn it off, because if he could turn it off, it would just not go to America and there'd be no problem.
But then how did he like move, like pulled it down if the
So
autopilot was
are you
on.
saying that him pushing down is him fighting the autopilot? So he has to physically push
That's
down?
about the only way I can see this
Yeah,
making
and
sense.
that me too. But that's also not how autopilot works
Exactly.
in any sense.
Yeah.
So that's where the plot hole comes in, because I don't think you can physically fight an autopilot. I don't think it's like you outpower it.
No. Either it turns off when you start using the controls, or it just disconnect the controls and you can't do
Exactly, or the
anything.
controls do nothing, right? Because
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
accidentally knock it or something.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
so my understanding is that this plane was on a wire from Germany to America, and it was just following along on that rope. So he had to
Yeah.
push down to fly away from the rope.
Also,
/
like
wire.
the other part of this that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, if he can fly the plane, because he can't. He was, he flew into the ground, but he can. It was like,
I mean, I could fly a plane to the ground.
exactly, but it was like he was like, oh, I'll have Howard. Peggy says, I have Howard come and help you. Like, oh, there's no time. But why can't you just, instead of down, can you just veer it to the side and fly it somewhere else until Howard gets there and then land it?
Oh, maybe.
And, you know what I mean?
Maybe, again, it's not like we just watched this movie. Maybe those missiles were going to fire from that plane in a certain amount of time, and it doesn't matter where he was. The plane had to be out of the air, so those missiles couldn't be launched.
They don't say that, though. Not like there's nothing that says, oh, it's on a timer. Right?
That makes way more sense.
It does. Yeah. But still, if he crashed the plane, sure, but like it doesn't seem like things were broken. So,
and again,
things could have just flown out of the plane from the ground and made their way somewhere. So that, you know what I mean?
Now, I'm no aeronautical engineer, but I'm pretty sure a plane can crash on its own.
Can you say that with a southern drawl, sir?
Nah, I'm no fancy aeronautical engineer from the city.
You guys can't see this, but he's doing the suspenders. The suspenders, yeah.
No. I'm no big city aeronautical engineer, but I do believe a plane can crash on its own accord, on its own abilities. If I do say so myself, you beautiful jury.
Did you become as a lawyer? Okay.
Yeah,
he did.
Sorry.
He's both. He's a dual aeronautical engineer / lawyer.
He multi-classed.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I'm no fancy aeronautical engineer, but I do think that drag and lift can be inverted to create a crash without said pilot. I rest my case. I said case closed.
Anyway, yeah,
sustained.
a plane can crash itself very easily, I would say.
And if that fucking wheel had to just be pointed downward, just put a fucking thing in, pushing
like jimmy it and jump
it
up.
upward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's the question: did Captain America know he could jump out of a plane and survive at this point?
Well, yeah, he had jumped out of. Oh, I see.
But he had a parachute.
Without a parachute. Yeah. But he didn't even try to look for a parachute.
But do you think
that's the thing? He was like, "No, I have to die," and that he decided he had to die, and that was it.
So I listen. My real answer is that he's scared of Peggy and wanted to die instead of learning to dance with her.
Scared of commitment?
It's scared of commitment. But
no, you can get out of that plane. No, I gotta crash it. No, you can set
definitely
it to just crash on its own. There's parachutes. Peggy, you're breaking
up. Yeah.
I think we should be friends.
No, but like, so I was looking for this just to get the terminology right. And so in the movie, basically Captain America says Schmidt has locked the navigation system. So he doesn't say autopilot. So it's a bit ambiguous as to what the navigation system is. And he's like, but I think I can put it in the water. And so he basically says, it's kind of like insinuating autopilot without saying the words autopilot. Because I don't even know if autopilot existed in the 1940s, but It's neither here nor
Yeah,
there.
it's got lock navigation. Totally
Yeah.
different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
So then, but excuse me, it doesn't change the fact that once he decides he can put it in the water, like he could still get out at some point. Like, does he not understand planes so much that he believes he has to drive it into the water? Like, if he wasn't holding the stick or doing whatever, as soon as he got out, the plane would be like, meow, and fly off just like perfectly.
Yeah.
Just
I
like
mean,
level
that's-
out and head back to New York.
Well, when he's fighting the Red Skull, at one point they knock the stick and like the plane starts flying straight up or something like that, or straight down.
It rewrites itself.
That's when Schmidt turns on the autopilot. That's what I said. They show him turning it on, but like even then, the way that the plane was going down, the way that it would have stalled. And there's no autopilot can fix a stall, so like it should have crashed.
But it's not
then
autopilot.
already.
It's
It's lock
navigation
navigation.
There's no way of changing lock navigation. Once you lock it,
You can't
unless you
unlock
have the
it.
key, you can't unlock it.
And the key was blasted with Schmidt
In
by the
his face.
Tesseract.
It was
Yeah.
his penis. That was the
When it
key.
went,
The
red-
I see.
Hey,
suddenly don't make keys that small.
this is not the start of our weird questions, but I do want to know if the Red Skull's face is just the skull. Is his penis there anymore?
I mean, that's just like blood and
Is the Red Skull just all bone, or just his
Is
face melt
that
off?
supposed to be his bone, or is it just?
no. I always thought it was like he still had skin, but it was red.
Yeah, that's
And it
what I
was like-
thought too.
All his muscle was gone.
But like all his like he has no nose.
True.
Right? He has no
Yeah.
ears.
Yeah, but then his penis would be gone. If his nose
Yeah.
is gone, then his penis would go with it. Why do you think he's so angry?
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
Keeps
Check.
peeing on his own leg.
Why does he sit down?
I mean, if he has no skin, then it's a lot of questions that go unanswered because he doesn't really have muscles on his face either. And is he just an animated skeleton?
Skeleton. It's a red
I mean,
skeleton.
by the name, you think he's wearing like a bodysuit with fake muscles to make him like fill out his outfits?
Yeah, definitely. You know how you get like those like Superman costumes where it comes with the muscles? He just
Yeah,
has a
that's
Red
what I'm
Skull muscle costume.
All right, that tracks.
Yeah. We might as well just get into the questions because I think
No.
we've. Oh, you want to go back?
Well, my one question is because I think that the reason why he didn't jump out of the plane is because he didn't think he'd survive jumping out of the plane.
Captain America.
Yeah.
Right.
So if that's
but then-
the case,
But he wouldn't survive. He didn't think he was going to survive crashing the plane either.
yeah, but maybe he wanted to make sure the job was done right, and he's like, I'm going to die anyway, so
I'll give him
might as
credit.
well
He
see
wants to
this
be
through.
100% sure that the plane's
Right,
going to crash,
right,
right?
yeah.
So the only way to be 100% sure is to crash it yourself.
But my question is, if he thought he would die if he jumped out of the plane, you know how in the next movie he jumps out of a plane without a parachute?
Like,
No,
when
he
did
probably
learn?
knows by then.
So you think when he realized he could do that, he was like, fuck, I could have jumped out of that plane.
No, because he was ducking Peggy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a good thing she's dead because now she would see me do this and she would go,
She's not dead.
Motherfucker. He doesn't know when he does that.
Peggy, I got to put
Oh,
it
that's
down.
fair.
I love you. I'm just not in love with you.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god.
You're really sweet. But I think we should see other people.
I've fallen in love with Red Skull. Goodbye.
With Dr. Zola.
And Bucky. You know what? I'm really not into you.
We have a thruple thing going on. You wouldn't understand. Hey, let's just get into this. The Red Skull. He wears faces, whether they're skin over skin or otherwise. We've discussed that previously. But I want to know is where does he get this Mission Impossible level face tech? Because that fits like a goddamn glove. Like every time he puts on,
And it gives him a nose.
It gives him everything. So, like, who is this, Dr. Zola?
Does he have a dick mask?
I mean,
To give him
he
that
would.
dick?
He would.
he would.
Like that's all he wears is the mask and the dick, and it's just
Yeah.
everything else is red
That's it.
skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he's always like in long sleeves.
Yeah, yeah.
There's an image.
You're welcome.
I'm ready for my close up. What actor is that?
Russian.
Russian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nine. I'm ready. No, I can't do it. Ready for my close-up. Dying. What was the question? Yes, he has a dick mask.
How? No. How does the Red Skull get a dick mask? Tech.
Okay.
Maybe this is in the Mission Impossible universe, and that was like the prototype.
I'd give you that, but even in the Mission Impossible movie,
40s.
it's the 40s. They didn't even in the first, like they had the prototype version in the first Mission Impossible movie.
Foiled by time again.
Yeah.
And it's not great in comparison to how good this is.
Yeah. Well, on Mission Impossible 3, the mask is like electronic.
Sure.
Kinda?
Yeah, I mean,
They perfected it by 3.
yeah.
And 2, I think it was perfected, but in 1, it was like an actual like makeup mask.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like
that's
full-on,
right.
like
Yeah, once you stretch it on your face, it's fucking perfect. But before that, it looks a little.
It's almost like another actor playing it.
Almost. But
Yeah.
no, they would never. Do that.
don't kill the magic.
So, like, is this a Dr. Zola invention? Is this because
it's a Tesseract mask?
Also, so the Tesseract did it.
Yeah.
Does the Tesseract make this possible?
I mean, the Tesseract made Loki's little staff, so maybe the Tesseract just shits out face masks.
Yeah. Sure.
Them out. I'm
Is
not
the
sure.
Tesseract a 3D printer?
Maybe.
It's not a 3D printer.
I think it's not a 3D printer.
So we're going with the Tesseract made the faces.
No, I think he made the masks from humans that he's killed.
But they don't
All
look
of
like him.
them who look like Hugo Weaving.
No, I think.
Show your work. If you can.
Maybe he doesn't really look like Hugo Weaving, but he killed a guy who looks like Hugo Weaving, and he just wore his face. But his actual face is completely different.
He rips it off like 3 times.
Well, triplets.
It's reusable.
Of course.
He threw one into the fire in the fucking when that factory was blowing up. So
Yeah.
at least has twins.
All right,
at a minimum.
rewind. They're triplets.
Nice. Good idea.
Yeah, thank you. And that's why he killed them, because he was like, I want to have at least 3 versions of these masks because I love to dramatically throw them in fires.
Okay. And then he just like pads them out so they fit his weird skull contours.
Yeah. He also took the triplets' dicks to make the dick mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
No, he killed Big Dick Johnny. Sorry, Big Dick Hans from northern Germany. He was like, that I'm getting his dick mask, and then I'll get these triplets for faces.
Listen, I'm sure people want me to ask the question, how does he figure out which dick mask to get? But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sully the podcast with that question. We're going to move on to our next question. Yeah, you know. Hey, when Captain America gets the super soldier serum, he also apparently has to get zapped with Vita rays that suck up all the power in Brooklyn and maybe the Eastern Seaboard. Don't worry about the power. I just want to know what else happens if you get exposed to Vita rays. It sounds like a Fallout thing in a way.
It does.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Vita rays just a nice way of saying you get blasted with radiation?
Chemotherapy.
Yeah, it sounds.
Radiotherapy in this case.
Yeah.
It sounds like it could be.
I think if you get too many Vita rays, you start like getting in those BLM things that like sell like vitamins, like those, like, you know,
Wait,
the
BLM or MLM?
Yeah.
what's BL? I don't know. MLM.
Incel Spencer came out briefly
What's
to say
BLM?
BLM. Black
does that
Lives
mean?
Matter.
Oh, I forgot. That's why you guys paused in shock and horror.
I was like, where is he going with this?
Tread carefully.
No, I apologize. I misspoke. Yeah, MLM, which stands for
Like Amway?
Yeah, like those sales groups that like
Multi-level marketing, aka pyramid scheme. Yeah.
those pyramid schemes that sell vitamins, you know, because you
Herbalife.
the Vita rays. Yeah.
So
you get what
Howard
I'm saying.
Stark ran an MLM on the side?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, come on. Would you be surprised?
No, not at all. That's how he got all his money, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's where the Vita rays came from. It was their top seller.
They did nothing for Captain America whatsoever.
No, that was all just a game. It was all the serum. That was just a marketing campaign.
It's just like snake oil, basically.
They filmed it and they're like, "Look what Vitarays can do for you."
So
when you're blind with so much light.
So now I'm thinking Dr. Erskine had it, and he sold it to Howard Stark, and he sold him so many that Howard Stark needed to like use up his Vita Rays.
I gotta get rid of these somehow.
I get rid of these somehow. How can I use them up? And it's just like, let's blast Captain America.
Yeah.
And then
since we're testing shit on the guy, let's just test a bunch of other shit.
Let's test the Vita Rays, which is just a white light flashing. And they're like, and then he's like, and if you at home buy a Vita Ray, you can sell it to your friend, and you're actually making money on every Vita Ray you buy.
Yeah, and if
they make money.
If you can recruit 3 people to sell Vita Rays for you, you get a portion of their.
You don't have to sell Vita Rays anymore. You just let the money roll in.
Yeah,
and that's the Vita way.
You become nice. You become an entrepreneur then.
I think we've nailed this question.
Yeah, I think there's no other way to answer that.
Hey, why did Mercedes-Benz build equipment for Hydra?
Money, dear boy.
Talking about because their cars looked exactly like Mercedes-Benz with the Hydra logos.
I mean, if it was good enough for fucking Volkswagen, why wouldn't it be good enough for Mercedes?
Oh, maybe that's why. They want a piece of Nazi action.
Yeah, they couldn't get it in the main strip.
The mainstream,
so like, the people are already using the the Volkswagens for the military. We can take up the Hydra wing.
Oh, see, you can do it when you stop and think about it.
Yes, I just have to sound like I want to sell something evil.
So Mercedes-Benz was like, Hitler's too mainstream for us.
Yeah, exactly.
He's playing it a little safe with his demographic.
We need someone edgier.
He was like
the slogan of the podcast. Mercedes. We need someone edgier than Hitler.
Like everybody else, like they're using Volkswagen. It's the car of the people. We're gonna sell this to a higher echelon of crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they wanted to do.
No,
we don't sell it to the common people. We sell it to the really crazy people.
Once you cut off a Mercedes head, 2 heads grow in its place. What?
Hail Mercedes!
Yeah. Hail Mercedes!
That
campaign
this podcast specifically not sponsored by Mercedes-Benz in any way, shape, or form.
They know what they did. Okay. I think that's fine. Hey, Spencer, I'm asking you this question because I think you know the answer.
Okay, I'm ready.
Why is Captain America simping for Becky?
Oh, God. What are you doing, man?
This is before he realized that they weren't right for each other, so he crashed a plane to avoid a relationship.
Obviously.
But in the beginning, yes. No, he is simping hard. And they talk a couple times, and then he goes off on his like military
adventure,
and then he like gets ripped, and all of a sudden she's interested in him.
I mean, the picture of her in his like watch is weird because they aren't anything.
Yeah,
they're not.
Why does he have that?
He's simping.
Yeah,
we're
asking why.
Yeah, why is he simping? Because she's really cool and hot.
Dude, the answer... Come on, the answer is simple. The answer is very simple. He's Captain Cuck, and that's what cucks do. They simp.
Wow.
He wants to get pegged by Peggy. Is that what you're saying?
Hey! See, I knew you had it.
That's why she's called Peggy? Like, that's not her real name?
I'm Peggy. Is that an invitation?
Her name is actually Maria.
Yeah.
But
stop calling me Peggy. It's not your name.
It's one time.
It's a yeah.
It's not my name. It's just my preference.
Yeah. And yeah, he like when he goes off to like sell war bonds, like there's other girls going after him, and he's like, Nah, I'm a one-woman man.
None of them would peg me like Peggy would.
This brings me to another question. I think we have to tie these two questions together because,
like,
also
first
pegging
of all,
and BSDM.
The question is, how did Captain America lose his virginity? And because
Of course.
it's an important question to
Naturally.
answer. Because when you say when he went off to do the war bond thing, he had all I agree, he had all this woman after him. You're telling me that he didn't have sex with like any of them? Like the same
No,
way
because he
what's her
said-
face comes on to him in the like she's like,
Yeah,
oh,
he
you
was
saved the
saving
love.
himself for marriage.
Yeah. That's
What
it.
Or pegging. One or the other.
He wanted his
Sorry,
first time to be
did you say
pegging.
Peggy or pegging?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes.
No, he says at the beginning he's waiting for the right dance partner.
Right. That's
but
true.
dance partner is like can be sex, right? That dancing leads to sex. That's what I know.
Well, that's what that's what they were talking about,
Yeah.
you know? And so that infers me to believe that he did not sleep with the show whores.
But he said he was
Jesus.
waiting for the right dance partner when he was a twig.
Yes.
Oh, you're saying you think that changed when he became a bear?
I think you wait for the right dance partner when no one will dance with you.
That's true.
But when you
That
come,
is totally what someone would say when they
Yeah.
have
Right?
they're alone in the dance
It's-
club. I'm
it's
waiting
not-
for the right partner.
It's not
Yeah.
that I can't find anyone. I just don't want anyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then when all of a sudden he fucking beefs out, he's like, oh, I was like,
He went from Incel Steve to Captain Cuck. Is that what you're telling me?
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so I don't think he hooked up with any of those girls because then he tells Peggy or she sees him kiss. I don't remember if he told her.
Well, Private
She
Marjorie
sees.
Tyrell
Yeah.
basically like forces herself onto him.
oh yeah,
that,
she
that was
sexually
sexual
assaults him.
assault.
Yeah.
100%.
And then she gets mad at him and shoots a gun at him,
Yes, she does.
which is very
Oh,
healthy.
at a vibranium shield, which is like notable for ricocheting things off of it.
I mean, did she even know at that point?
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
not sure.
Do you think she would have cared?
A little.
I just think that it sounds like their relationship is quite toxic. And
That's not the question, Spencer.
sorry,
How did he lose his virginity?
Oh, right.
Slash.
I don't think he did. He never slept with Peggy. I think he never slept with
think he
those girls.
lost-
He got frozen.
So he got like a blowjob from the chorus girls, but he doesn't consider that sex, right?
No, maybe he did some soaking.
Jesus Christ.
You want
You
to
did
explain that
this.
to our listeners?
You
Just-
did this, man.
They're all innocent.
Do I have to explain it?
Now, yes. Now
yes,
you
I
do.
want you to explain it. I know what it is, but I want to hear you say it.
Soaking is, I believe, is an Amish term, and it's from when you're not allowed to have sex, so you're allowed to. How do I say this? You're allowed to
Just say it.
Put it
enter.
in. Yeah.
You're allowed to put it in, but you're not allowed to move.
Mhm.
So it's motionless. It doesn't technically count as sex. And I believe they would sometimes get a friend to jump on the mattress to simulate motion. And I believe
You're a
there's
real
another
expert
term for
on the
that.
subject.
There's another term for that. How do you think my first child was born?
It's true. I
Doesn't
was
work.
there. I was the jumper.
He was the jumper. So he did that, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And that doesn't count.
Doesn't. You're right.
Howard Stark was the jumper in this case.
And that's actually how Jesus was born as well.
Yeah, Immaculate Conception.
Yep.
Wait, so is that where they talk about fondue? Because
Yeah.
it's soaking?
That's the jumping, like soaking is just as Spencer explained it,
Yeah.
but the jumping part, that's fonduing. You are correct.
Ah.
Oh, I knew there was a term for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Fonduing.
Fonduing.
Where did that come from?
I funded him.
Yeah.
The movie.
And that's also why he likes Peggy, because Peggy can peg him. And that also doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's correct. That
He's
is
waiting
true.
till after marriage. So since he didn't do it, he technically is a 90-year-old virgin
Right.
in the future.
Right.
And there he doesn't do it. I think the closest he comes is to Peggy's niece or grandniece.
Grandniece by the numbers.
which
Yeah.
is a whole
fine.
thing into
Fucked?
itself.
Yeah, it's
As in-
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen, if it's good enough for Pornhub, it's good enough for Captain America.
That's the other slogan of this podcast.
Captain Pornhub.
If it's good enough for Pornhub, it's good enough for the bright light of
Yeah.
our country, not our country.
Their country. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so he doesn't do it with her, and then I guess he goes back in time at the end. Technically, if he goes back in time, does that make him no longer 90?
No. That's
What do you mean? Well, he's
He
older.
He lived those 90 years. Doesn't matter when.
Even though he was frozen? Yeah, that's true. So he lost his virginity probably at like 100.
Well, it's like it's weird, right? Because his age is from his birth date. So you're all right in the
Yeah.
sense that he goes forward to the now and he's like 70. But if he goes back to when he was 20, is he not 20 or 24?
No.
But birth dates aren't a measurement of time. They're a measurement of time from the day you were born.
But age is. It's how much you lived. It doesn't matter if you
But
kept
he didn't
traveling.
live He didn't live those 7 years. He was a fucking popsicle.
Yeah, so he's not 70 when he wakes up in the 2000s.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Well,
saying.
not physically,
Oh,
but
I
he
thought
is.
I thought you were talking about like when he was 90 at the end of Endgame.
They call him 70, but he's
yeah,
not.
but no,
So
he's
when he
not.
goes-
He's not.
Yeah.
No, he's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I disagree. But when he goes to the future, he's technically 90 years old
No.
or whatever.
Why?
Yes.
At the
If
very
he's
end.
body
Born in
didn't age.
1930,
But
and
his
he
bo-
lived till 2000.
His body didn't age.
It doesn't matter what his age is. His birth certificate says 1930 fucking thing. He's a 100-year-old banging 20-year-olds.
Props.
Okay?
Mad props.
And he lost his virginity, I believe, to Peggy 100 years later.
To Peggy.
Before.
To Peggy.
When he goes back in time.
When he goes back
When-
in time.
Oh,
And that's
I
why
see
he goes
what you
back in
mean.
time. Because he's like, he was going to stay in the future, but he's like, I got to lose my virginity, man. This is taking long enough.
He realized his mistake of not ducking
Some-
out of the Peggy relationship.
Some would
No
say
one else
that
wanted to
was
have
his
sex with
that was his end game.
Ooh, God.
Hey.
We wrapped it up with a nice bow. We're gonna move on. Bucky. Why is his kink being kidnapped?
Why is it? It's a good question. I think he had no. It was gonna get dark really fast. Let's leave it alone.
I don't think his kink is getting kidnapped as much as it is being saved. By
Oh,
Steve.
interesting. Yeah. So, do you
And
think?
soaking.
I was gonna say that Steve lost his virginity to Bucky, and then
No,
he
no.
kept
Didn't
saving
No,
himself
Bucky lost his virginity to Steve.
to
It doesn't-
Steve. I see, and then he keeps.
Hey, it was wartime. Doesn't count. We had needs.
I think Spencer's right. I think he likes being saved.
He's got a damsel fetish.
Yeah.
Quality. Okay.
Yeah. And then that's why he gets caught by the Nazis like 4 different times. And he's like, "Oh no!
Oh, save
Oh
me, please!
no! Not the Nazis!
Again.
Stop choking me, Daddy. I mean, General.
Choke me hard or daddy?
Don't stop! Don't stop!
Stop! Not really. My safe word is pineapple.
Hey, he is welcome to express and live out
Whatever
his kink.
kinks he wants. Exactly.
That's
yeah.
great. No, I'm glad that he was able to express himself in the 40s. That's probably was really hard.
Don't turn me into a war criminal, a zombie assassin.
First of all, Captain America is a war criminal. The Winter Soldier was brainwashed. It's very different.
Is it?
Sure, probably. I don't know. Moving on.
I'm still processing what he said, and it's like,
I said a lot of words.
moving on.
Some of them go together. Hey, who's the bigger Nazi? Colonel Phillips or Dr. Zola?
Who's Colonel Phillips?
Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy
Did you
Jones.
fucking watch
Did
this movie?
you watch this movie?
What I've told you guys and the audience, I don't remember names.
Well, try.
I only remember
know-
Captain Cook.
Do you-
The only thing I remember.
and Agent Pegging Carter.
Yeah.
Jesus. Answer the question.
I think it's okay. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I think it's Phillips
Okay.
because Zola, like, yeah, he was doing the stuff that he did, but like he was being coerced.
Way to brush over all
He
those Nazi crimes.
Shut up. He was
doing the things that he did. Who's to judge?
he was being coerced by Schmidt, right? He was having fun, maybe a little too much fun, and he didn't really care about the people he was torturing. But, and hear me out on this, at least he didn't serve another man steak, potatoes, and milk.
Listen, you.
You're gonna say I'm wrong.
I'm not going to debate the dinner. I will say that saying Armin Zola was just coerced, I believe he went on to become a sentient robot whose sole goal was to further
AI.
Nazi Hydra.
Yeah. Well, in the comics, he
In the
uploads-
comics.
Wait. He uploads Hitler's conscience to another computer called Hatemonger. So you be the judge.
That sounds like he's the Nazi. Call me crazy. But
We only are focusing on Armin Zola.
He's
The
Swiss,
character in
man.
this
They are
movie.
notoriously like neutral.
Yeah, he
But-
says, I'm Swiss.
I'm Swiss.
I mean,
So,
yes, but he made weapons and became a Nazi robot. So,
first of all, he wasn't a robot. He was an AI.
Yeah.
Second of all, he wasn't a Nazi. He was a Hydra agent.
Yeah. Famously broke off with the Nazis.
Yeah.
that
famously.
is true.
Schmidt was like, you know what? No, this is too like this focused evil. No. We're gonna be evil to everybody.
I mean, let's just put it out there. If you asked Armin Zola and Tommy Lee Jones what they thought of the Jews, or if you said, "What do you think about the Jew problem?" What do you think?
I
I don't think Zola would care.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
And Phillips is from the South, given where things are today.
Ooh, you know what? You're making some good points. Frankly,
Yeah.
they have too many lasers.
I heard that in my head with Tommy Lee Jones's voice, and that was great.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that answers the question.
I think
we covered
the answer is like, I don't know.
It's better left unanswered.
Yeah.
One final question. Why did the Tesseract just fucking zap Red Skull to space?
Why?
That's a good question.
Like, are you asking if it
what's
has like an intention?
What's its motivation?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they're fighting each other, and like the Red Skull has basically been using the Tesseract the whole time to make weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
And then he basically touches it, and it's like, nope, you go to space now, bye.
And I remember thinking at the time when I first saw this movie that it was because he touched the Tesseract with like his bare hands, or
I think that is what it was.
but we've seen in other movies that people
Yeah.
touch it with their bare hands all the time.
Tesseract has a mind of its own, essentially, is the way they kind of play it out. So like the Tesseract clearly made a choice to just into space with them.
Well, let's go by the logic of how the Tesseract works in later movies.
Sure.
It's used to create portals and teleport
And
himself,
teleport
right?
people. Yeah.
So, but it was at Thanos's. What Thanos did it, he like willed it to do it, right?
Loki as well.
And Loki as well. Loki used it without having it in a gauntlet or anything, right?
Yeah,
he
but
just
Loki's
grabbed it.
Asgardian, so it's kind of different.
Yeah, it probably wanted to be with Loki for whatever reason, right?
So the Tesseract's like the ring from Lord of the Rings.
In a way.
So maybe the Tesseract saw its opportunity to get into space to be closer to its fellow Infinity
Infinity
Stones.
Stones?
No, but the Tesseract stays, right?
Yeah.
Because Howard Stark finds
Oh,
it
yeah.
on the ocean floor.
Okay. Let me revamp.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come back around.
I was
Maybe,
gonna say
maybe let Luciano answer what you figured out.
I was gonna say that maybe the Tesseract wanted to have Hugo Weaving all for itself and sent it home so he could play with it later. But
No,
it
but
did stay, so
it
it's
stayed.
kinda,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same problem. Maybe the Tesseract. Oh, here we go. Ready?
Oh no!
Well, yeah.
Now I'm scared.
No, this isn't as crazy as you might think. The Tesseract is all knowing, and it knew that if it stayed on Earth and sent Hugo Weaving into space, it would be taken by Shield and eventually found by Loki, which eventually would bring it to Thanos and be reunited in the Gauntlet. And it was all part of its plan to be destroyed by Thanos.
Do you feel
Maybe it's
good?
suicidal.
Do you feel good about this answer?
Especially given the time it took for you to get to it.
I mean, I think it's a answer, and nobody can take that away from me.
That is true.
Matt's like, I'm taking that answer away from you.
No, I'll allow it because this is a yes and establishment. But yes and that answer sucked would be my final statement on the question.
All right. Here, I'll give you a more appropriate answer.
I
Okay.
think.
No. Let me finish.
Are you sure?
I got it.
Okay.
Red Skull just jerked off with his penis mask, and his hands weren't cleaned.
Right.
So when it grabbed the Tesseract was like, that's gross, and sent him into space.
It's just a Tesseract's like, nope.
Yeah, it's just like, no, that's gross. I don't want to be
Okay.
your sex cube.
Luciano, do you want to follow that or just let it go?
Good luck.
I like no. I don't want to follow.
Yeah,
Just
great.
move on, please.
Moving on. End of the podcast.
Moving on.
Close podcast. Delete podcast.
Yeah.
That
Delete
was
memory.
no. We have to do.
I would love the last like 5 minutes back.
You won't. If you didn't stop listening to us, we are going to do a review of Captain America: The First Avenger. We use the S tier. You all know it. I've said it every single time. So, Spencer.
B. I gave it a B. This movie's good. Better than I remembered. And refreshing when after watching all those, like, there's so many Marvel movies now that it's like kind of all, they kind of jumble into one. This one stands out on its own, and it feels good to watch a movie that's like, I was like, it reminded me of a simpler time in Marvel, you know, of a
simp time.
a simping time, where it was a more naive time where you thought you could soak and it wouldn't count.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the rules. Okay, fair enough.
Before the fondue.
Jesus Christ.
Listen,
Listen, no, it's fine. You're good. Luciano, what do you got?
that's it. It can be-
That's what you get. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Shut up
done
now.
here.
I just want to say, want to sum it up. Captain America, like soaking without the fondue.
Okay, you
Put
didn't
it
have to.
I
Put
wish
it on the box.
I wish I had
You could've
interrupted
stopped.
him.
Nope.
Yeah, you should have stopped.
So as I said, when I watched it the first time, I didn't like it as much. Watching it again, for most of the same reasons that Spencer gave, minus the soaking. It's
But that's all I said.
I know it wasn't as formulaic. It wasn't as sort of stilted as the movies are now, and it takes a good amount of time to do its set pieces properly. The plot holes are not a big deal. You can kind of see why they did them. It's kind of lazy and sloppy, and soaky, but it's like fine. But
No.
nope. Okay. No, I enjoyed this movie, and I was thinking I was torn between a B and an A. I think it's an A, this movie, because like
Wow.
if I'm thinking about like the first Iron Man movie, that's an S, and then the first Thor movie, it's like a C or a D. This is an A for me. It's a good. I would watch it again. So it's an A. Not a super solid A, but an A.
Do you want to continue rambling, or are you?
Your wishy-washy reviews.
It's not an
Oh,
A.
yeah.
It's like a soft A.
It's a
hard
soft
A.
A. It's a hard
It
D.
is.
It's a dick mask A. Like
It's a steroid juiced up C, really. Super serum D,
Really?
maybe.
yeah. I mean, like with the Vita rays, maybe a B.
Oh,
Yep.
both of you are A's assholes. So, yeah.
That tracks. I enjoyed this movie. I think it's a B too. I had a good time. I would watch it again. It's fun. It's a fun movie. But you know, I'm gonna justify its B by saying other things are A's and S's, and it's not a great way to use the ranking system. But to me, it's a fun movie with some flaws, but is overall rewatchable. Is kind of how I place it. You know, like there are some things that make you go, "Oh, that's interesting." It's not a great, you know, the actors are great, but like the story going around them is like,
Thin?
it's paint by numbers
Right.
in a way. So that's why it's a B for me.
Would you say it's like a strong B, a weak B, super strong, super weak?
If I've been soaking for 10 minutes,
Okay.
that's
okay.
the level of B I would give it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No fondue.
No fondue. No, that's too
Okay.
dangerous.
Yeah.
No fondue, but fuck you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I give that a
is-
strong fuck you.
Yeah.
Strong fuck you. That is the end of the first Avenger movie review. Is it a review? Who knows what we do here?
It's definitely
Last-
not a review.
That's something. Last movie in our series of World War II movies, we are watching the 2023 biopic, the Florence Pugh vehicle, Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr. vehicle.
They're all stars, so it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to. I haven't gone so deep into it to know who. Anyways,
Yeah, I
Oppenheimer.
haven't either.
We're going to tackle Oppenheimer. I don't know how it's going to go for us, but we'll try it.
It's not good.
I mean, the movie's not good, or it's not going to go well for a
It's
podcast.
not going to go well. Tune in.
We'll
Tune in
figure
for-
it out.
Tune
I'm
in for
pretty-
the train wreck of us tastelessly tearing apart this historical biopic.
I'm
with the
pretty sure it's
creation
not
of the
that.
nuclear
It's
bomb.
not that accurate.
Listen,
so we'll be
we're
fine.
gonna be able to say a lot of shit about an American who did some crappy shit. So
Listen, tune in next week where we use a lot of bomb euphemisms for penis.
yes,
And penis euphemisms for bombs.
little
I got a ticking
boy,
time
and
bomb
the
in my
big
pants.
boy, and the little man, and the big man.
Big fat gack.